Welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue discussing some of the influences of Qi Jiguang in relation to the early development of Taijiquan, and also get into the applications of a couple of the movements of the Taiji form. So the two postures we're going to be focusing on today are called Jinji Du Li. This one here on the left, which translates as the golden rooster standing on one leg, and Xuan Jiao, which just means suspended foot, but in modern Taiji practice, this is sometimes called raising the foot, or just left and right kicks, kicking either with the instep or the heel or the ball of the foot. So let's get started. So I've selected 3 postures from 3 different styles to compare to the original Qi Jiguang posture from the book. A lot of the designs, sometimes you can't really make out which leg is which. Even sometimes it might seem like you're looking at the right leg, it's actually the left leg, or the drawings are very poorly done. But basically, this posture here from Qi Jiguang's original 32 postures eventually developed into these versions here. So this is the Yang style version. This is an early picture of Yang Chengfu when he was young, doing the golden rooster posture. This is the son of the Wu style founder, Wu Quanyou's son, Wu Jianchuan. And you can see that even though there's a slight difference, the main idea might be there. He also might be focusing on different aspects of the training, because in the Taiji form is considered a internal cultivative practice, which incorporates many internal ideas that involve stretchings and internal twistings and connections and coordinations that sometimes the posture is modified to suit those requirements more than the actual application, the fighting application, because the fighting application is practiced separately. So this could be one of the reasons for the discrepancies in the different versions of the posture. Some might be focusing more on certain aspects of internal development practice, and not necessarily on any type of direct association with an application, a fighting application, martial art application. Right, so you can see here in Wu Jianchuan's example, his arms are kind of shaped like an S, and he seems to emphasize more the hooking aspect of the movement. And there seems to be more of an integration of his left arm with his right leg coming together here, almost forming a Taiji symbol with his body. And here, the third picture, this is Sun Wutang from the Wu Yuxiang lineage. And he is somewhere in between Yang Chengfu and Wu Jianchuan's versions. He's kind of somewhere in between. So these are just 3 examples of the golden rooster posture, and 3 of the major styles of Taiji in China. So if we move on, look into the application or the usage of this movement in Yang Chengfu's book. Okay, so the main important part of what he talks about is here at the end, where he mentions the actual application of the movement. He says to raise the left hand of the opponent or his right hand according to the person. Actually, the text in Chinese says person, but I just translated it as situation because it can be according to any type of the situation. And he says you can use either the feet or the knees to strike with, and there are no restrictions. Without any restrictions on, I interpret this as without any restrictions on the application of the movement, which is a common idea in Taijiquan, where applications aren't limited or restricted to certain movements, and even the posture itself can be something that encompasses a larger range of usages that aren't just restricted to that particular technique or application, right? So I think that's important to point out, as we will see, because if you see other versions of Taiji, here's one version where they're using the golden rooster stands on one leg as a knee strike. So he's getting the underhook here with the right arm and bringing in the knee for the knee strike. And another variation of it, which is the other posture that I will be talking about later on in this video, is you see how he starts the movement in the same way with the right hand coming in with the underhook. Then he brings the knee up, so he's almost in a golden rooster posture here, but instead of bringing in the knee, he extends out with the kick. So the golden rooster posture can change into the kicking posture we saw before in Qi Jiguang's book. And we'll get into that later. Another example is, or another variation of the application or the movement is, this here is Yang Chengfu's son. So the passage I just read from the book talking about discussing the application, where he's saying to use either a knee or a kick, this is a picture of his son demonstrating the application, and he's using neither a knee or a kick, he's using a hook sweep. So he's using the golden rooster stands on one leg as a sweeping motion. So this kind of exemplifies what I was mentioning just now, that the technique is not restricted to what he said, either a knee strike or a kick. It can have many different possibilities or variations that can be explored. So from that idea, there comes an obvious comparison to the iconic Thai boxing posture used in Thai boxing, which is almost identical to the golden rooster standing on one leg. And this posture is one of the representative postures usually to represent Thai boxing. It's an iconic Thai boxing representative pose. Well, first of all, I would like to point out that in Yang Chengfu's version, the Yang family version, you can see possibly one reason of why or how similar the posture is even in application, right? So, and this posture can be used, it's so effective that it can be used either with kicks coming to the inside of the body, as in this picture, or kicks coming to the outside of the body, as in this picture. So the same posture, without having to shift, can protect both the inside and outside kicks coming in. And as you can see, when the knee is connected with the elbow the way it is done here, it covers and protects the large portion of the body. And here's another example, the example I brought up just now of the variation of the underhook with the knee. This isn't an underhook, but it's similar usage of how they come up with the control to the upper body to bring in the knee. A similar posture, very common in Thai boxing as well. So now we're going to take a look at some of the examples from actual matches to see how this posture is used in actual combat. So you'll see here from the beginning in the first round, the two fighters come out and you'll see that the first attack involves the golden rooster standing on one leg posture. The interesting thing is that the posture, the way that it's used in Thai boxing, is to kind of dissolve or nullify the impact of the person doing the kick, right? So instead of having the foot planted on the floor and the leg absorbing the kick, the leg, by raising the leg up, you can dissipate some of that force as it's coming in. Very much a Taiji idea. I'm not trying to make a comparison between how Thai boxing uses it and Taijiquan uses it. The application in the end will have a different philosophy and background to it. I'm just giving some examples of how this posture is used and its effectiveness in actual combat. So here, if we continue, again, here again, blocking with the golden rooster. Again, he comes up to protect himself with the golden rooster, bringing the knee up. So as the kick comes in, he raises the leg to disperse some of the impact of the kick. Again, here, right? So continuing, here, there it is, he brings the leg up. So not only do the Thai boxers use this posture as a catch to catch kicks, but they also, as seen here, extend out and use it as a jab, the way that the boxers use a jab. So the kick is this type of posture is very much used as a method of distance management. A very effective posture. Its application goes beyond just a defense. It's actually involves a type of distance management. So here again, he's kind of catching the leg as he comes in. He goes in for a kick himself and gets blocked. Again here, catching the kick. Another example, catching the kick. Okay, so here's another example here. Evading the kick. So here he uses it kind of like a cat, like you would a catch. Nullifying the kick. again. And sometimes from the block, they follow up with that kick. So there it is. You can see that the majority of the match was spent or had direct relationship to the usage of this technique. That's why it's one of the iconic images of Thai boxing. So here again, the kick it's one of the reasons why it's so useful is that not only can it be used here as a protection, but if the kick doesn't come in, you can extend the leg and follow up with the kick of his own, right? So it can both be used as a defense and a setup for an attack. There it is again. So basically you can see that this is the main strategy of defense in Thai boxing. Which is probably a very good reason of why Qi Jiguang selected this posture and why later it was incorporated into the early development of Taijiquan. Again here, right? Easy, no problem, absorbing the kicks. And you can see how much, by assuming that posture, literally the whole body, it can protect the whole body. Very effective technique. Here it is again. Okay, various examples. Another one. Different angles. Okay, even at some point you'll see that even they bring it up, both of them are standing in the golden rooster posture at the same time. This is a very common occurrence in Thai boxing. So frequently used. As you can see, here actually is the variation of a combination of where he uses the block and he follows with the knee variation here. So he does a double golden rooster, one as a block and the other one coming in with the knee to the side. Okay, again, even he comes back with another attack and the other. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at another variation which was mentioned previously of Yang Cheng Fu's son here, showing a sweep variation, and we're going to take a look at how this is used in the Thai boxing or in actual combat as well. So here he grabs the leg, he comes in and uses the golden rooster to execute the sweep. So this is the sweep variation of the golden rooster. Here's another one where he uses the golden rooster to block. Again, catching the leg and using the golden rooster for another sweep takedown. Okay, this is another example when he's coming in. So here he brings his leg up for a possible defense, decides to use the kick. So even the variation of where the golden rooster can change to the kicking posture we're going to talk about in a moment, this is also used as a form of distance management. They use this kick a lot in Thai boxing, the way a boxer would use a jab to manage distance. And here he creates distance. Here in this So here they both assume the golden rooster posture. He catches the leg again and comes in with the golden rooster application for another sweep. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at the kick variation from the golden rooster. As was mentioned earlier, this posture here in the Taiji practice, the way that it's taught in certain circles of Taijiquan, the entrance is the same as the golden rooster posture with the underhook. He enters raising up the knee, but instead of using the knee, he follows through with the kick instead. But as you can see here, the setup for the kick is basically the same posture. And that's what we're going to talk about now. And here, as you can see, the comparison from Qi Jiguang's form and how it's used in the Taijiquan circles. The posture is identical. There has just been a change in the name. They don't use the suspended idea anymore, but it's practically still there. It's the same movement. So just to show that being executed in the Taiji form, the leg comes up and then extends out. So as the leg comes up here, you can see it's very similar to the golden rooster position, but then follows through with the kick. So this is an important characteristic of the golden rooster technique, is that it can easily transition from a block here because he comes up in this movement, which can easily block any kicks coming in the way it would naturally, but then he extends out for the kick, using the kick the way a boxer would use a jab. So here's another example using the foot up. So he comes up again with the knee, the golden rooster posture, and then extends out to keep the distance, the way a boxer would use a jab. And you can see they're constantly returning back to this posture. Again here, brings up the knee and extends it out. Bang. And then another example. Here you can see how the frequency of how much they use the technique. It's constantly being employed throughout the match. This is a championship match. Again, using it as a kick, like a jab, for distance management. So again, it's being implemented as not just an application, but also as something utilized for distance management. Again, here, the kick doesn't come in. He prepares with the block, but the kick doesn't come in, so he uses it as a kick, as a jab, using the kick as a jab, very nicely placed, nullifying the right hook. Nullifying, or even you can say intercepting the right hook as the right hook. So just as he's preparing to throw the right hook, the kick comes in and intercepts his movement. So this concludes this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.